Seizure after seizure. Seizure after seizure. Seizure after seizure. I'm in my studio working on Complexion, the last painting for my solo show, which is going to open in May. I get a call from my gynecologist. I hang up, change my Pandora channel, and play nonstop disco and go back to painting. I have breast cancer. I see the referral I got from my OBGYN was very encouraging. She says it's a no-brainer, snip, snip, and I'll be on my way. Then I read reviews about her. There are several people saying, if I hadn't gotten second opinions, I would be dead. I move on to UCLA. Dr. McCloskey, the radiologist, says they found another area, and the radiologist who read my images believes it's important to get it biopsied to rule out more cancer. When I get home, I get in 5 hours of painting. If I have the surgery on April 3rd, then I have 3 weeks to get this painting finished. However, my cousin tells me that they are going to close JPL and will work from home. Universities are going online, and the NBA has canceled the rest of the season because a player has come down with the virus. I feel off all day. All I want to do is get back into bed. Instead, I plug away on my painting. The phone rings. It's Dr. Kuski, the surgeon. The radiologist insisting on the additional biopsy saved your life. I take a breath and sit in the studio for a minute and begin to weep. I spend the day painting in the studio. Tonight, the governor and the mayor announce that all non-essential businesses have to close their doors. We meet Dr. Crisera, the plastic surgeon. There are 2 types of reconstructive surgeries. One involves a tissue expander with an implant and would be an overnight stay. The other would take fat from my stomach, yay, and create a new breast, which would require 4 nights in the hospital. Oh, but they're not scheduling any new surgeries. In the time between March and July, I complete a commission and finish the work for the Politics of Color, my solo exhibition at Show Gallery. 4 days before surgery, I get ready for my portfolio review with Erin Goldberger. She says the red, white, and blue frayed thread painting really kept speaking to her as she drove to a studio visit on the Jersey Shore and saw house after house with American flags. At 1, I have the Zoom pre-surgery class. It knocks me on my ass. What a relief. The day has finally come. For the next 3 months, I recover from the mastectomy. I create a website for SOS Siren. I send out notifications. I host panel discussions on Zoom. I host the studio visit. I gather contributions for my video, The Dear Maiden. I edit The Dear Maiden, all for Maiden LA. The last part of my mastectomy. Dr. Crisera lifts my right breast and creates a nipple for the left. After the disappointment of the Politics of Color, 2 years of work goes largely unseen because of COVID. I throw up my arms and say, what the fuck? If no one's going to see my work, I'm only making things that don't need storage. I have this virtual studio visit with Rotem Rosenthal, a curator at the AJU Gallery. Shortly thereafter, Rotem sends me an email about a grant for artists working on the subject of forgiveness. She says, maybe you know someone who'd be interested. I complete my application in 20 minutes and win the Word Artist Grant. In August, I produce The Undoing Forgiveness. The Undoing uses stories that are contributed anonymously. The 31-minute video shows my hands knitting and unraveling waxed hemp twine. The waxed twine is difficult. It sticks to everything, my hands, the needles, and itself. I've been in pain for 3 or 4 days. My parents were Holocaust survivors. I come from people who know how to tolerate pain. On day 3, I talked to my naturopath, who says this has gone on too long. You need to go to the ER. I don't think it's that bad.
Seizure after seizure. Seizure after seizure. Seizure after seizure.
When we get to UCLA's ER, the waiting room is nearly empty. Great, we'll get in quickly. I watch as the room fills and then empties, fills and empties. My pain is building. From 1 to 10, I'm at 12. My back is screaming, my side is screaming. After 10 hours, or was it 12, I say to Harry, let's go. I can't take it anymore. We ask about why I'm not being seen and are told I'm lucky because my case is not as bad as these other people's. Terry says, give me 5 minutes. He goes over to the doctor, who thought I was probably just constipated, and tells him, we're leaving. The doctor finally looks at the results of my blood work that they took in the first hour and rushes me onto a gurney in a room that we call purgatory, a former office where I'm given a shot for pain and fall right to sleep. They put me into a tented area for people who are going to be admitted. I'm put on an IV. According to Google, it's used for people who are septic. I'm finally being transported to Santa Monica. I am literally being ruled out to an ambulance when a nurse comes running. You can't move her. She's not stable enough to be moved. All of 2022, I prepare for my solo show at Alfred University. I knit a 10 by 30 foot long sheath of yarn made of hemp that will become the Red Lotus. I prepare for the 5-day durational performance Release Me. I record myself telling stories of being the child of Holocaust survivors, and I edit pieces of my parents' stories. I visit a friend I've known since she was 3 and I was 5. Nancy helps me through my mastectomy. She isn't really seeing anyone since the advancement of her ALS. I make a version of Anna's cookies her father used to make. I offer to just leave them outside the door, but she lets me in, and we visit for quite a while. I feel a piece of dust fly up my left nostril and plant itself there. When I get in the car, I blow my nose. When I get home, I blow my nose, hoping to dislodge this strange invader. Hours later, my left cheek swells a lot. I go to urgent care in Century City. I'm given antibiotics and told that if it gets worse, I should go to the ER. In less than 3 hours, it quadruples in size. I'm admitted and stay in the hospital for 3 days. The doctor says if I don't get better, I should come back to the ER. I don't get better. I have an infection of my parotid gland. It's a day of antibiotics every 6 hours, plus injections in my belly to prevent blood clots. The next day, the swelling starts to come down, but I wake up with an itchy throat, mucus, and itchy eyes. An ENT doctor is called in, and he adds another antibiotic. He says infections in the face are extremely aggressive, so they have to take more extreme measures and fight back aggressively. They do a CT of the left side of my neck. It is then that they accidentally discover that I have an unrelated, very large bony growth on the inside of my skull.
Seizure after seizure. Seizure after seizure. Seizure after seizure.
I make a test of the cocoon I will be knitting myself into during Release Me, a 5-day durational performance. I order silk mohair and cotton yarns. I write and record. There are meetings with the Alfred team who will install the work. This means hanging the Red Lotus, printing the backdrop for the performance. I also prepare a lecture that is a career-long retrospective. Students attend and tell me how the show has changed their lives. One student was able to forgive herself for getting pregnant just as she was heading off to a big career as a track star. It's day 3 of Release Me. My mother tells the story of her sister brother-in-law and their 2 small children who have been thrown down a well by the Nazis to drown. I am weeping uncontrollably. Erie makes a beeline for the second chair opposite me and asks, "How are you able to be so vulnerable so publicly?"
Seizure after seizure.
I meet Dr. Yang, a neurological surgeon. He explains that we have no idea how long this growth has been there or how quickly or slowly it's growing. He suggests we watch it for 6 months. If there's any increase in size, it has to come out. 6 months later, he tells me that the tumor has grown a tiny bit and I need surgery. If I wait, I put myself at risk of having a stroke or seizures. On May 1st, I have surgery. I'm told it will be a one-night stay, and in 2 weeks, I'll be back to my life, making art, driving, and able to take care of myself during the 9 weeks Terry will be away for an artist retreat in Philadelphia. In recovery, Dr. Yang says, everything went as expected. I spend 3 days in the recovery room. Why haven't I gone home as planned? According to Terry, I speak in gibberish.
It's made of gittle, of glittle. Is that the right word?
No, glitter.
Glitter. It's glitter. I don't get it.
I have seizure after seizure. I thought I would only be in the hospital overnight. My brain is scrambled. What are people saying? I try to make food. I couldn't find the word. I keep getting excreted it up. On Tuesday, I am clear, but then I got all screwed up and I'm scared. I thought it would get better, but it's not. All screwed up. I tried to read the 2022, but I can't make the work. They're just jacked. I'm not sure that's the right W-R-I-T-E word. My forehead and the top of my head have 5 sensors. Red, blue, green, and yellow wires like dreadlocks tied together in a large single cord. I have my head wrapped in gauze. I call it my nun's cap. I have seizures every 3 seconds and say things like, "Schlojarfrikenradia." I watch pre-coronation coverage. Lionel Richie and Katy
You and
Perry
I had a
perform.
very long, silly conversation about the coronation and their stupid people.
My childhood friend, Hannah, visits me, and I rant on and on about the 10-foot-tall malachite urns, a valuable stone surely stolen from some colonized nation, on either side of Chuck and Chevrolet. Every morning, the baby doctors come into my room and ask me the same questions. What's your name? Sharon Kagan. Who is president? I say Biden, but can't remember his first name. Where are you? I know the place is named after a president I never liked. I think, Ronald Reagan Hospital. What comes out are 2 words that start with R's, Rishikesh Recuperate. My favorite question is when they ask about the color of the sky. My eyes drift over to the window. It's a cloudy day in May. You can't ask a painter about color and expect her to say blue, which is what they are looking for. I describe what I see. White, gray, ultramarine blue light, and phthalo blue. They disappear, disturbed or confused. They don't understand color as I do, just like I don't understand the brain or neurological disturbances. We speak different languages. Tweedledee and Tweedledum ask, do you have any questions? Yes. When am I going home? They explain that I can't go home until the seizures are under control, but I don't understand a word of it. Have I been told about the seizures? My roommate is a large monitor displaying my brain waves. Every few seconds, there are large patches of angry, dense, black lines. On May 8th, my mother's birthday, I am released from the hospital. My brain is still scrambled, but I'm doing much better. I'm in the guest room with the doors open, and I look out onto our garden in so many varieties of green. The fresh air, oh my God, the fresh air. I spend days sleeping, and at night I'm wide awake. The doctors put me on a steroid to prevent swelling, and they keep me awake. My legs are really weak from anti-seizure medications. I have to press myself up with my hands to get up. At the end of the day, I make some calls. Susan Hill sent me some John James embroider needles. Before surgery, I told her my plan to start embroidering the Release Me photos in my 2-week recovery. I stumble into the studio to find the threads for the embroider and the stretcher. I'm getting ready to spend some time embroidery, but I still need to find tools like sizers and the thing that helps put the needle into the threads. I think doing the embroidery will be helpful for my brain. Before the surgery, when I know Terry is leaving for Philadelphia on June 3rd, I plan an all-girls 70th birthday party. On May 9th, I go into party planning mode. It begins with massive decluttering. Bags and boxes flow out of the house. Terry is told the typical side effect of steroids is waking up in the middle of the night, old toothbrush in hand, cleaning the grout between the tiles. It's a time bomb waiting to go off once the drugs are finished. Terry gets a call from Susan, a friend and intuitive healer in Colorado. What the hell is Sharon doing? She's burning herself out. Stop her. I can only handle short visits. My visits with Sarah are my favorite. They're so much fun. I can't understand a thing she says. I lie in bed and listen to music, going in and out of sleep. Over Zoom, we get the lab results. No cancer, no need for further treatment, no chemo or radiation, and the confirmation that it was an osteoma. I will need to follow up with a neurologist to get another EEG to make sure I'm not seizuring. The doctors are insistent that my job for the next 2 months has to be resting and giving my brain time to reconnect the two sides.
Seizure after seizure. Seizure after seizure. Seizure after seizure.
May 20th, less than 3 weeks out from surgery, I wake up thinking about the dear maiden. I want to talk to Maureen. It's overcomplicated. I know that she could make it modern and way more interesting. I see my new neurologist, Dr. Siegel. He tells me that I must have had extreme events for them to put me on Keppra 2,000 milligrams, Vimpat 200 milligrams, and one other I don't remember. I tell him I'm being over-medicated, and he replies, I'll be the judge of that. By the end of the meeting, he says, you're being over-medicated, as if it were his idea. Dr. Siegel tells me you have permanent brain damage. It affects your executive functions, the exact function that can't locate the meaning of his words. You know that sensation when your pen is running out of ink? It skips and starts. That's the exact sensation of my brain searching for words or organizing my thoughts. I'm learning how to walk, how to find balance. It's a matter of transferring my full weight onto one foot before I begin to move the other foot. 4 months after surgery, I begin a writing class, thinking I have lost all creativity. With the help of Taya, in October, I make a short video called Why Am I Here? Inspired by the recent attacks by Hamas in Israel and the response by Israel in Gaza. I write a poem. We turn it into an Instagram video. In November, Taya and I have gathered enough stories for the self-forgiveness video, Freedom from Entanglement. I keep telling myself and anyone who asks, I'm doing great, better and better every day. I now know that I was out of my mind. I won't be anywhere close to being great for another year. And yet, with Taya's help, we finished the second video.
Seizure after seizure. Seizure after seizure. Seizure after seizure.
And then in 2025, this happened. I continue working on my recovery. I produce another short video, finish 3 of 6 embroidered panels of photos from Release Me. This morning, I woke up at 4 a.m., a story emerging. The harder I try to hold on to the pieces, the more rapidly they slip out of my grasp. All that remain are these words.